Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Be Here Today podcast. If this is the first episode that you're ever watching from me, hello, my name is Julia Waddell, and I am your host. Today, in the spirit of Valentine's Day, we are going to be talking about love. I put out a poll on my Instagram where you guys were able to answer the prompt, I know love exists because, which I'm really excited to dive into and just read all of your responses. And also I'm excited to share some of my own examples of that. This year has already been filled with so much self-growth for me. And I just feel like it's going to be such a pivotal and important year in my life. For one, this is the first time in 4 years that I'm single. And this is my first single Valentine's Day since pretty much I started college. So I'm not the kind of person who really likes getting into my relationships and sharing that super publicly online. I was kind of going back and forth about if I ever really wanted to dive into those relationships, and I'm probably not going to because, one, I just want to respect the people who I dated, their privacy, and also that's just very personal to me and not something that I want to air out all over the internet. But in those 4 years, in those two different relationships that I was in, I learned a lot of really important lessons and learned a lot about myself. So it's so weird the way my relationship trajectory went because I had been single, hadn't even really gone out on a date with someone in the first 18 years of my life. And then once I got to college, I was in one relationship for the first 2 years of college and then another relationship in the last 2 years of college. And once I graduated, I kind of went through a breakup and here I am. And I've been single for 8 months now. So it's definitely been an emotional roller coaster. I think the breakup complicated the transition of post-grad a little bit, but also there was a reason why that relationship didn't work, and I just have to keep reminding myself of that. I was also sobbing last night because I kept getting these TikToks of people in happy relationships and also just people's relationships with their family, specifically their dad. There was this one TikTok that I watched where the dad was kissing his daughter on the forehead and he was, oh my gosh, I'm getting emotional right now. He was kissing his daughter on the forehead and he said, I loved you first. And the daughter looked really confused, and then he said it again, I loved you first. And then he turned his daughter around and it was her soon-to-be fiance on one knee proposing to her. I was just ugly crying at that point, and my TikTok algorithm really knew how to get me that night because it just kept feeding me the same kind of content in a different font, and I was eating it up. I can't even lie. I was doom scrolling for way too long just watching people in happy relationships, and it made me really happy. It also made me really excited because for a while there, I think I was struggling with just post-grad loneliness for one, but then for two, navigating what life is without being in a relationship for the first time in 4 years. Granted, I had lived a whole 18 years before, my two relationships, but it was just such a weird thing to not have your designated partner anymore. It's just no longer a thing. You feel like you're kind of taking on life alone a little bit more in a way. But recently, I've been really noticing the beauty of that because I get to fall in love again. I get to do that whole thing again. And I think some people, you can either view it as a glass half full or a glass half empty kind of way, where some people say oh, I hate going through the talking stages, so many failed talking stages. I hate talking about what my favorite color is to a new person for the 50th time. And I can get it, but also these are the cards that I was dealt, at least, and I'm really doing my best to be intentional and pull the good out of it, because at the end of the day, I'm stuck with these cards anyway, so there's no point being bitter towards it, and I'm really just trying to romanticize being single and enjoying this era of my life and understanding that hopefully it's not forever. Obviously, it's really scary. You never know if it is going to be forever. I hope not, but being optimistic that the universe and its timing is just going to work out for you. For all of my single girlies out there right now who may be feeling extra alone, I know I play both sides of the coin as well. Some days I wake up and I'm oh, I love being single. I love just being able to focus on myself, take care of myself. I don't have to answer to anyone. I don't have to consider anyone else's emotions and the actions that I'm taking, and I just get to be so free. And then there's other days where I'm ugh, I miss the companionship. I miss constantly just having a built-in best friend and someone to do something with all the time. It's I'm reminiscent of it. And then seeing happy couples sometimes either makes me sad or makes me really happy for them and just filled with joy. So I get it. For all of my single girlies who maybe are taking on this Valentine's Day single, honestly, try to enjoy it. I know a lot of single people really like to wallow around this time of the year because they're ugh, I don't even want to see people in relationships. Like, it just makes me upset. I feel like it's just a national holiday to rub it in my face. Like, there's bitterness towards it. But also, it's like, this is your only guaranteed Valentine's Day that we know of that you're going to be single. So hypothetically, what if this was your last single Valentine's Day and, you meet the love of your life and you get married and the rest is history, but that's your last single Valentine's Day? Do you want to remember it being just bitter towards the whole day, not enjoying the time that you had while you were single? Because there's definitely pros to being single. Enjoy this time that you do have, the time that you are guaranteed to just be able to take care of yourself. And I don't know how you want to structure your life, but it's not always guaranteed to be that way. For example, I would love to meet the love of my life, get married, and have kids one day. So whenever that does happen for me, I'm no longer going to be just taking care of myself. I'm no longer going to be able to just think about myself and kind of almost act selfishly in a way with the way that I go about living my life and being able to prioritize the things that I really enjoy and just being able to do me. There's going to be a day where I need to be chasing all my kids around. I need to be, taking care of my husband when he's not feeling well. There's so many other eras of life, and to take this era of life for granted, I feel like would just be silly. So I'm really trying to reframe my perspective, and I'm trying to encourage you guys to do the same as well, because the only guaranteed thing that we have is right now. And I'm not trying to get all like deep and existential on you guys, but seriously, tomorrow isn't even guaranteed. And there's a scary element to that, but then it also reframes your perspective and makes you think of, okay, but today is guaranteed. And I do get these moments in this day and this era of my life. So although there may be sucky moments, although there may be hard patches, enjoy it. Enjoy all the bad, the good, the ugly, everything in between. Because I can guarantee that it is not going to be like this forever. Even if you're in the high of your life right now, it's not going to be like that forever. So enjoy the good, enjoy the bad, enjoy everything in between. Something that I'm really trying to capitalize on in this era of being single is building my self-love. I think that everybody is the best version of themselves when they truly love themselves. I think that you are a better partner, you are a better sister, brother, daughter, son, person in general when you love yourself. I think it takes a lot of time and a lot of growth and a lot of patience, and it's hard because everybody's path looks very different. Some things that I'm doing in my personal life to try to build my self-love are taking care of my mental and physical health. And I know that that's such a broad scope. So let me give you some examples of what I'm doing. I am trying to stay consistent in the gym, and I've been pretty good about it. I go through some rough patches, and I think part of having self-love is having grace with yourself. When I was doing gymnastics, I didn't really have an option to not go to the gym. Unless I was like on my deathbed or had some sort of family emergency, it was pretty much expected of me to show up to practice. And especially when I got to college, I wasn't only showing up to practice for myself, I was showing up to practice for my teammates. Because at that point, you're playing a team sport, and any corners that you cut with yourself is basically directly impacting the team. So I always was able to find a reason bigger than myself to keep pushing through the hard days. Whereas now, when I'm navigating the gym, it seems a lot more self-centered and needs to be self-driven. If I really don't want to go to the gym one day, I just think about all the people who can't just decide to not go to the gym, who don't have the option to go to the gym, even if they wanted to. For example, a reason that would be bigger than myself is my mom has multiple sclerosis, and she's had it for, honestly, for as long as I can remember, maybe the past 14 years, maybe, well over a decade. And she's not able to fully live her life normally due to physical limitations. The way that her MS affects her body is it impacts the left side of her body, where it weakens the muscles in her left arm, her left leg, making it a little bit more challenging to move, walk, and activate those muscles. So naturally, she isn't really able to do some of the things that I'm able to do, like go to workout classes, go skiing, be able to go to the gym and weight train, being able to do cardio the way I do cardio. There's a lot of things that are different for her. And a lot of the times when I really struggle with motivation to go to the gym and reasons to pour into myself, I just think about how much she would love to be able to do something like that and how blessed I am to be able to do it for myself. So in those moments, I kind of find myself doing it not just for myself, but also for someone else. I find it a lot easier to hold myself to a strict regimen or routine when I'm looking outside of myself to find motivation to do something. Another thing that I'm trying to work on is the way I speak to myself mentally. If I don't keep it in check with myself, I can really catch myself saying a lot of degrading and rude and unproductive things. And it doesn't have to even be out loud. It is just like letting the active thought go through my mind of like, wow, I look really ugly today. Or, oh my gosh, like I feel like I look so bloated. I look so ugly. Like I feel so undesirable. Or, ugh, like I just ate so much food. I feel disgusting. Why am I like this? Why did I do this to myself? Why do I have no self-control? Why do I have no self-respect? Like just like those thought loops that you get yourself caught up in are just not productive overall. And that's not feeding into your self-love for yourself. So I'm really trying to be intentional about the way that I'm speaking to myself and the way that I'm perceiving myself. I think just also with the nature of the job that I do, being on social media and being in the public eye a lot, I can really get in my head about how people are perceiving me and sometimes paint this picture that people are perceiving me in the most negative way possible. And that's not helping anybody. I really try to not overthink my social media too much. I want to just water it down to exactly what it is. This is my digital diary. I'm not doing this for anybody outside of those two categories, so why would it bother me if somebody is perceiving me negatively or if someone's choosing to talk poorly about me? I also saw this argument that was very interesting, actually, and it was saying that being insecure is actually the most conceited thing that you could ever say about yourself. And the way that they framed it is they said, if you are that worried about what somebody else is going to think of you, why do you think people care about you that much? Like, why do you think people are watching you that closely? Who cares? Like, you really think that someone's going to care about what shoe you're wearing today or how your hair looks or if you have a pimple on your face? Obviously, there's two sides of the coin to that because I've done my due diligence. I do like to stalk people on social media, so I can see it from both sides of the argument of, okay, but yeah, like I have stalked people before though, and I have made judgments because I am just human. And those are internal judgments that I'm just thinking to myself. But I know that other people probably have scrolled on my socials and had judgments towards me, and so be it. But I think if you're really struggling about feeling comfortable posting on social media or just feeling really insecure overall, that could be a good mindset to help you think in that way. That could be a good mindset for you, and it is one of the more extreme ones, but it's not harmful. Like, as long as you are not directly hurting or offending people and have like malintent behind it, you're good. Who cares if you want to wear a super experimental outfit? The final thing that I wanted to touch on in this episode is that you can't hate yourself into your dream body. I think one of the big things that I've been navigating now that I'm done with gymnastics is realizing that staying active and being fit isn't just about performance anymore. When I was doing gymnastics, obviously there's an aesthetic part to it where there's a lot of comparison between physical bodies and builds, and you just grow up in that culture. And a lot of it's highlighted by coaches and just the environment of doing gymnastics as a child. I personally was never really affected by comments that my coaches would make or comparing myself to my teammates' bodies or anything like that. It never really got to me. So when I was doing my sport, I was always just focused on how I could become the best gymnast possible. It didn't matter what I really looked like. I was very rarely affected by how I looked and was way more focused on, can this body allow me to do the best gymnastics that I'm capable of? But now that I'm done with gymnastics, it's like there's no longer that performance element to it. And it's really just, I still like feeling strong, but there's definitely more of an aesthetic part to it that I never really acknowledged before. Because now I have the ability to be able to train for a specific build or aesthetic or whatever. But that opened up a whole floodgate of like spiraling potential. I haven't spiraled fully, but I definitely have sat with myself and thought, gosh, like, am I going to be stuck with huge, massive quads and broad shoulders for the rest of my life? Like, I am realizing about myself that I do have a naturally pretty muscular build because I came out of doing 20 years of gymnastics. My body went through puberty while I was at the peak of gymnastics. So naturally, I'm probably gonna have broad shoulders and big quads for the rest of my life. And that's okay. Like, I'm at the point now where I'm just like so unbothered by that. I'm really just focused on creating the best version of myself. Never in my life am I going to look like Kendall Jenner. I'm 5'2" with massive quads and calves and broad shoulders. I'm never going to look like this little itty bitty petite model. And even in my arguably lightest weights that I've ever been, I still had very defined muscles. I still had a broader muscular build. That's just genetically the way that I am. When I was 2, I had these massive calves. Like, what 2-year-old has these hunk of calves on the back of their legs? Well, me apparently. And that's okay. So I'm really trying to make an active effort to not compare myself to other people because it's just so unattainable. And comparing myself to other people is only doing me harm in the long run. So I'm really trying to not focus any energy on that and just focus on loving myself and wanting to create the best version of myself because I love myself. You can't hate yourself into your dream body. Building your dream body is so subjective that if you hate yourself in your starting point, there is no way that you are going to love yourself in your ending point because there will be no tangible ending point. You could build your quote unquote perfect body, Pinterest board ready, gorgeous, chiseled by the Greek goddesses, and you would still be unsatisfied if you don't love yourself. It really doesn't matter what your physical aesthetic looks like, because if you are discontent with who you are at your core or how you feel internally, never in a million years are you going to love your outcome. Also, nor will it be sustainable. Some girls will get to this like low-key very unhealthy physique and they'll love it. They'll feel so confident, they'll feel like the best version of themselves, but it's not sustainable. And that also is harming yourself, and punishing yourself by doing that is not a form of self-love. You should be going to the gym and taking care of your body and eating well so you feel your best and you look your best. Not as a punishment, not because you hate the way that you look and you want to look better. And that's not to say that you can't be dissatisfied with yourself right now. And love yourself enough to say, I deserve better than this. I deserve to take care of myself. I deserve to feed and fuel my body properly. I'm just saying, when self-improvement is masked as self-hate, you're never going to be satisfied. The final thing that I just want to touch on is the universe's timing. I'm not a super religious person, and maybe religion is something that I will come around to later in life. I grew up in a private Catholic middle school and high school, so I have been surrounded by Christianity my whole life, but I didn't resonate super heavily with the faith. I don't have anything against it. I have full respect for all religions and what people choose to believe in. I think it's great. I think finding something to believe in is really what keeps people going. But I just know that I don't feel super tied to religion right now, but I do believe in a higher power. I don't know whether that's God. I don't know what it is. But I believe that the universe has all of our best interests at hand. And you just need to trust that there's a higher power in charge that's going to take care of you. Even in moments where it feels like everything's going wrong, nothing's going right, that might just be the universe stalling and redirecting you until you get to where you're actually supposed to be. And I think that a lot of things in life don't click until later down the line. Like, when I look back on my life, I'm like, wow, like so many things just fell into place for me, or this happened, which caused this to happen, which completely changed the trajectory of my life. But you never realize that in the moment. You just feel like you're cursed and that everything's going wrong and nothing can go right. Genuinely leaning into trusting that some higher power is taking care of you, it has helped me at least take a load of anxiety off about my future. I've always been super anxious about my future, about being a failure, about not living a fulfilling life, my life not panning out the way that I want it to. The second that I really just sat back and was like, okay, it's going to happen the way it's supposed to happen for me. And nothing that I do is going to be able to change that. So even if I quote unquote make the wrong decision right now, it's going to lead me to the right place still. So that has given me a lot of comfort and just like eased my own anxiety about my future, because it's just given me a lot of peace of mind of knowing there's no wrong path. You're always on the right path, even if it feels like the wrong path. So trusting that has really just allowed me to take the load off and stop like letting my mind spiral and constantly have the gears spinning. Now I quickly want to read through everybody's responses to my recent Instagram question poll. I posted this on my Instagram and I said, help me with the podcast episode. And then I gave you guys the prompt, I know love exists because ... Also, go follow me on my Instagram and my TikTok at _Julia Bedell for 1, more content, but also 2, a chance to be featured in the pod. I always put out questions and polls on my Instagram so you guys can interact with me and also just be a part of the content that I'm creating. I know love exists because random acts of kindness from strangers. Wait, so true. Why does it genuinely make my day when someone who doesn't know me, has no reason to do anything nice for me, do something nice for me? Like, it genuinely makes my day, and it's something that I always end up thinking about for so long after. That's just a good reminder to always be a kind person, but also sometimes like go out of your way to be a nice person. Like if you're thinking of a positive compliment, just say it out loud. Like I've been really trying to practice that recently of if I ever have a positive thought come across my head and I think that it could, positively impact someone, I'm going to say it out loud. And it always seems to just like make the person's day. And it's such an easy and simple thing to do. The next one is, I've felt it in safety, loyalty, and in a quiet way that someone chooses to stay. Oh, that's so cute. My brother wrote 52 love songs for his crush, and now they've been married for 2 years. Oh my gosh, that's adorable. Someone said, I have good friends, though my love life is non-existent. Well, I do too. First of all, my family, they're all my best friends, but my best friend Addie, she is my best friend, and I know love exists because she exists. I know love exists because each day at work, tiny hands reach for mine without hesitation. Wait, is this person like a NICU nurse or something? That's adorable. Someone said, my whole family supports me when I'm far away from home. That's so cute. Another person said, my parents and my best friend of 15 years. Wow, best friend of 15 years is very impressive. Someone else said, I can feel it and see it all around me. Like when my cat chooses to sleep on my bed. Wait, that's so real. When Bean chooses to like lay his head on my leg or like show me any sort of sign of affection, I'm like, oh, my day has been made. Someone said my parents' relationship. Wait, same. Because my parents are genuinely the most perfect people for each other. Like they make me believe that soulmates exist. I've never seen a more perfect match in my life, and they're just so happily married together and they're perfect for each other. I hope that I can have that one day. My mom exists and she is me and I am her and we are interchangeable. That is love. I am such a sucker for mommy-daughter, daddy-daughter relationships. Someone said, I met a man who, when I was at my lowest, not only stayed but fought for me and with me. Wait, why am I like choking up over that? That's so cute. Oh my gosh. I'm too much of a freaking like empath for this. Someone else said, witnessing people to come together to help support me even when I think I have no one. Oh, gosh. This, like, gives me faith that there's still, like, good left in the world. Someone said, my friends have never asked me to change who I was. Yeah, period. Oh, wait, that's so cute. The courage of trying things because I know my family will be there to catch me if I fall. Oh my gosh, that's so cute. Why am I getting so, like, emotional about these? You guys are so sweet. I couldn't agree with that more. Like, to have the strongest support system and be able to call them your family is so special. Someone said my dad. Yeah, because I would die for my best friends. Yes. A mother said, I see it every day looking at my daughter. She is my world. Oh, so sweet. Wow, you guys really got me there. Thank you to everybody who sent in those amazing tear-jerking responses. I'm still recovering, but thank you. I know today's episode was shorter than some of my other ones. I'm kind of filming it on a time crunch. It's currently Valentine's Day Eve, and I have approximately 24 hours to get this done and uploaded, but we're going to do it. So I really hope you guys enjoyed today's episode. This really was me just saying everything that was on my mind. I feel like sometimes Valentine's Day gets a little bit of a bad rep because some people see it as being super performative and like you don't need a specific day to love your person. Like, you should love your person all year round, which I'm totally with that. Like, I agree. Like, if you're only showing your partner that you love them on Valentine's Day, then we got bigger problems at hand. But also, I see the beauty in Valentine's Day of, like, I almost view it as like a birthday where it's an extra reason to love your person a little bit more on that specific day. Like, for example, I would not expect my significant other to be getting me chocolates or flowers or writing me a handwritten note, like, every single day of the week. But if it's done sporadically and maybe a little bit of something extra is, meshed in there on Valentine's Day, just as, like, acts of service, acts of love, I think that's so cute and so special. And it's like another reason to celebrate your love for somebody and your relationship. And I think something that I really love about Valentine's Day is that it's for all of our lovers. It's for people who are in relationships. It's for people who aren't in relationships. It's for people who just love love. I really hope you guys enjoyed today's podcast episode. Please comment down below some podcast episode recommendations or things that you would like me to touch on in the future. I hope you guys know how much I love you, and thank you for choosing to be here today. Bye, guys.